And welcome back to Lantern Corps videos. And currently we've been doing the Naruto cast. We've only got one team left to go. Well, technically not, and we'll get to that other team. We'll get to the next episode. We'll do it maybe an episode afterwards. And we're talking about Team 9, Team Guy. So, seeing as they include Azuma and Kurenai in their own team videos, figured I might as well include Might Guy in there. So we'll start with Guy. And with Guy, here's the thing about Guy. To me, there's actually only two Lantern Corps he can really fit into. First off, he is not a Black Lantern because he's neither died, nor is he dead, nor does he, worship death on any sort of, or, cause death or anything along those lines. He's not an Orange Lantern. He's just never shown that kind of... He's shown ambition, but he's never shown greed or gluttony or anything like that. He's also not a Violet Lantern. We've never seen him, we've never known anything about his romantic life, if he's ever had one. I have to believe Guy's gotten some in his life. Otherwise, he's 30-something-year-old, never done, don't get me wrong, there are people like that, and God bless you. If you didn't feel you're ready, you didn't feel you're ready, but, ninjas could die at any time, man. Get a little something before you die. I'm just saying. If Lee could get laid and have a kid, I'm sure Guy could have gotten some. I would also say Guy was probably a better looking guy than Lee was. And he's not a Red Lantern because it's just rage has never been a defining characteristic of him. He's been angry before, sure, but it's never been something that has been a defining trait of him. And therefore, it's not something that would really... What's the best way to put it? If a Red Lantern were to be flying around near Guy at any point in the series, there just aren't many points where he's truly angry. Maybe going full out, yelling at against Madara, for instance. I don't know. I don't even know if I could call that anger. Maybe there was anger. You could maybe make an argument for anger, but it's debatable. So I can't go red. Now, in terms of possible cores he could be in, I do think he could be in yellow. Might Guy, when he is at his Might Guy-ness, when he is being the Blue Leaf Village's beautiful blue beast, Might Guy is a scary dude to go up against. Despite how weird he is, Might Guy is a scary SOB to go up against when he's going all out against you. You do not, when he's using the techniques of the 6th, 7th, and 8th gate, you do not want to go against Might Guy. And Morning Peacock, Afternoon Tiger, Midnight Elephant, and I think it was Midnight Dragon that went into that afterwards, Night Guy. Dude, Might Guy can be scary. So I do think there's a legitimate chance he could be a Yellow Lantern, but it's not the core I think he belongs to, or that he stands the best chance of being a part of. I do also surprisingly think he could be part of the Blue Lantern Corps. He always held out hope that he could be, an equal to Kakashi, and he eventually did. He also held out hope that Lee could be a fabulous ninja, fulfill his dreams. So I think, and he inspires Lee and other ninjas too. I mean, he inspires team, but particularly Lee, to better themselves and go beyond that. Plus, he's always jovial. He always seems to look on the bright side of things. So I would actually give him a firm chance of being in the Blue Lantern Corps. But again, not one of the corps I think he stands the best shot of being in. And weirdly enough, he does, of the likely corps, or the possible corps, I should say, this one's probably the least likely, but still an option. The Indigo Lantern Corps of Compassion. Now, Guy is very odd when it comes to compassion, because when it comes to the majority of other characters, he has compassion for you, but it's that weird Might Guy compassion. I'll cheer you up 500 laps around the village with me tied to your ankles. Oh, and if you can't do that, I will carry a boulder on my back while I do handstands 10,000 times around the village. His compassion is weird that way. However, and sorry, the light is just being really weird right now. It's too bright right now for me to have the light on in the living room because it's just not going to show up. So I got the door open, but because it's the sun, the light's a little fluctuating. With Lee, though, we know for a fact he's very compassionate when it comes to Lee. It's I was a loser like you. I was a Oh, it's a fair. Like he was like, "You are there." Oh, yes, indeed. But I improved myself greater than anyone, so I could be a rival to any ninja, even Kakashi. And then that scene he has with Lee right before Lee goes into surgery, or maybe not right before, but shortly before Lee goes into surgery, because Lee's having doubts. Like, if you die, I'll die with you, and that is a promise, my evil student. Now go in there and do it. It's like, yeah, that's legitimate compassion. It is. So Guy's certainly not devoid of it. His compassion is just weird when it comes to everyone but Lee. And when it comes to Lee, he's very much compassionate towards Lee. Because, he's a mini guy. He's like, I see a little bit of myself in you. And I don't mean that in a pedo way. Anyway. So, kind of got a little Zap Brannigan in his voice now I think about it. Zap Brannigan. Brannigan's law is like Brannigan's love. Hard and harsh. Cold and harsh. So, yeah. And sorry, the computer. I can already tell the computer's starting to lag a little bit. There we go. I think it's a little better now. But no, the two cores I think he actually stands the best chance of being in are the Green Lantern Corps of Will, for obvious reasons. Like, that's a pretty obvious reason why he could be a Green Lantern. Like, him and Lee both have will at their yin. Like, the default Lantern Corps for most of these characters, like ninja characters, would likely be green. Just because it takes a lot of willpower to be a ninja and do what you do. So green would be a very likely core for him. But the other likely core, weirdly enough, like the most likely, is the White Lantern Corps. When you really break it down, what does the White Lantern Corps of life require for you to be a member? You need to A, be alive. B, you need to nurture and grow life. And you need to experience life. You need to experience being alive. And you need to encompass that. That's why someone like Swamp Thing was a perfect candidate for the White Lantern Corps, because he's the embodiment of the green, which embodies all plant life in the universe. That's why, Deadman, for example, and I always use this example, at one point to charge up the power ring of the White Lantern Corps even more, he went on a roller coaster and just was feeling the rush of being alive on a roller coaster. So, who in all of Naruto, even taking Lee out of the equation, adding Lee into the equation here, is just more vibrant and full of life and youthful and all that. Even his old age, he's in his 30s. Come on, old age, don't give me that crap. Maybe his early 40s at best. Him and Kakashi are hardly old men. Maybe by ninja standards, they're a little on the older side, but they're also retired. But yeah, Guy is like, even in a wheelchair, even with his, I think it's his right leg that's, permanently messed up because it was like one of the first parts of him to start disintegrating after, he used the eighth gate. He still is like, yeah, it's like, youth, come on, I told you I can move faster and more agile than ever before. Come on, let the power of youth explode. He's always talking about the power of youth explode. He's always this vibrant, energetic, over-the-top individual who's just full of life and is enjoying every minute of his existence. I can't think of a better representation in Naruto, save maybe like the first Hokage, who could literally grow plants, who can grow forests, who represents life that much better. Or maybe a medic ninja like Tsunade. And we'll get to the Sani and all that in later videos. But I can't think of anyone who's just better fits that than, say, Guy. Like, seriously. Can you legitimately think of anyone in Naruto? Let me rephrase that question. When you look at Guy, because I do believe it's green or white for him as the most likely. Do you really want to argue white? If you want to try to argue white, you can. I don't think it would change my mind that much, because really when you look at Guy, how he portrays himself, even in the bits of Boruto I've seen, I remember seeing the bit of that episode where he charged in his wheelchair doing dynamic entry to destroy the fire demon, the fire god that Azuma's daughter created. And it's like, the destroyer, and he broke through there, and he was still fine. It's like, how is this guy still? Clearly he can't be an active ninja because of his leg. But still, man, despite the fact he's not my favorite Naruto character, I do really enjoy my Guy. So yeah, my Guy to me is either a green or a white lantern. Now the rest of these guys I'll be a bit quicker on. Let's start with Tenten. Now here's the thing about this team. It's pretty much it's the exact opposite of something like Team 8 with Hinata, Kiba, and Shino. Whereas Hinata was the only character we had a decent defined personality for, so we could actually go through all the Lantern Corps and kind of select and disqualify them from there. Team 9 has the opposite problem. Whereas they have Guy, Lee, and Neji, all of whom have had defined characters in the series who we could have theoretically done individual videos for. And then you had 1010. God bless you, 1010, for trying to have a personality. So, look, I'm going to get 1010 right out of the way. There's only 2 possible candidates for her. She can't be a Black Lantern. She did not die, is not dead, or the whole death kind of encompassing thing. She's never really striked fear in anyone, so she can't be a Yellow Lantern. She has never really been shown enough anger in her personality to be a Red Lantern. We have no idea what her love life has been like after, say, Naruto. I still get people implying that she and Lee are we know Metal is the son of Rock Lee, but let's see, 1010. Or excuse me, Metal Lee. Hold on. Metal Lee. Again, 1 second here. Mother, father. They do not say who Metal Lee's mother is. I don't know. I get why people think. I get why people think it's 1010 because teammates and shipping pairs and all that. But I'm sorry, unless there's proof, like they flat out say, "Hey, mom," at one point, it's not 1010. So, and even then, I guess you could say, clearly she would have to love Lee, but she loves weapons, but that's not love that would qualify for the Violet Lantern Corps. There's nothing about her personality that really strikes me as compassion. She probably has compassion. I'm not arguing that, but is it enough or lack thereof to qualify her for the Indigo Corps? I can't say that either. I will say this. I think she's a little green when it comes to like weapons and stuff like that, but not in a way that, she needs. See, just the occasional spot of greediness won't qualify you for being an Orange Lantern. You have to be a thief who just wants more, gluttonous, wanting more information, like Luthor, they just wanting to know more, learn more, all that, was qualified for the Orange Lantern Corps. So, yeah. White is possible just because she's alive. If it is revealed she's Metal Lee's mother, then you can make a stronger argument for White because she's a mother and therefore gave birth to a nurtured life. But I had to go to green. It's the most likely candidate. As a ninja, it makes the most sense. So moving on. Now we got the 2 big ones, Neji and Lee. We'll go with Rock Lee first. Actually, we'll go with Neji first. If we're just using Neji as he stands, he's a Black Lantern because he's actually dead. If we take Neji, take that out of the equation, what would Neji have been? And I usually try to use Neji right around the Chunin exams in the original series. That's the Neji that kind of had the most character to him. Then once he lost Naruto, you take away some of that rage and stuff like that, you start to lose some of the attributes to him. So right off the bat, Neji could not, at that point in time, could not be a Violet Lantern. We have no idea if he had any sort of love. He loved his dad. I'm sure if his mom is still around, he loves his mom. But at the same time, it's one of those things that there was no focus on it, so we can't use that. He's also not Indigo Lantern. Trust me, there's no way. I don't think there's much way he could qualify in the first series of Naruto. But especially during the Chunin exam arcs, where, there was no way in hell that, if anything, he could probably be compassionate just because, Indigo Lantern, because he was just lacking in so much compassion because he was so self-centered on his own issues. So I actually might have to take that back. He could be an Indigo Lantern just from that standpoint. He was so blinded by his own crap that he did lack a lot of compassion. But then after Naruto, freed him up and, knocked his ass out and everything along those lines, he loosened up. He showed compassion towards Lee and other individuals after that. So maybe he could actually be an Indigo Lantern of Compassion. That's possible. Here's the weird thing, though. Despite his attitude back then, he wouldn't qualify for the Orange Lantern Corps. He wasn't greedy, per se. I mean, he wanted to be relevant. He wanted to prove himself. But can you count that as greed? I don't think you can count that as greed. I think you can count that more as ambition than greed. Someone like Sasuke wanting more power for the sake of a goal and still wanting more power after that so he can accomplish these goals, that's greedy. Choji eating tons, that's gluttony. That's technically greed. Yeah, Neji, I don't think qualifies for avarice, unfortunately. I just don't think he's there. But then you go into the unlikely or possible cores. The White Lantern Corps, because he's alive. Unfortunately, his attitude would disqualify him immediately. Despite the fact he's alive, he just isn't really he's not really a good person at that point. I mean, he's not evil, but he's not a good person. He's a jerk. So you can't really qualify him in that regard. Yellow Lantern. There's a sound reason that he could have been a Yellow Lantern back then. He scared the piss out of Hinata for a while. He even scared Naruto on points. Scared Rock Lee. He scared a bunch of people, honestly, because he was a prodigy, and he was pretty ruthless when he wanted to be. So, Yellow Lantern is a possibility. Another possibility, and this is an odd one, but blue. Because the Blue Lantern Corps is of hope. Now, what was it that Neji always wanted? For a while, up until Naruto had beaten him, you may have make an argument that he had given up hope that he would ever, because he was on this whole fate kick for a long time. Naruto shows up, and if you go past that point in time, he now has faith, he now has some level of hope, and eventually his hope was restored when he basically defied his own fate and died saving Hinata and Naruto. So, yeah, you could make an argument for hope. You could. Maybe not during the Chunin exams, which we're looking at right now. So I am slim but unlikely. If we were to go with the most likely, it's got to be either green, which, willpower, especially with the Hyuga style, it does take a lot of willpower, and the Byakugan. But honestly, Neji was just brimming at the seams with anger. He was angry over his father. He was angry at the main household, and therefore he was angry at Hinata by admission. So, and that anger clearly showed multiple times in the early stages of the series. Naruto pissed him off a lot. Hinata pissed him off. When Hinata says that you're the one struggling, you're the one who wants to change his fate, he just charged right at her intent to kill her. So, it's very clear to me that Rage was the Lantern Corps that pretty much encompassed Neji at that point in his life. You go past that point, then you're looking, I think, either at green or blue with a possibility of yellow. If anything, yellow probably a bit more than blue. Though, I think I think green's the most likely, but yellow and blue probably stand the best shot. And then we end with Rock Lee. Rock Lee is a pretty self-explanatory character in many ways. He's a mini guy, but there's some differences with him and Guy. He cannot qualify for black, didn't die, is not dead, nor does he, worship death or, encompass death in some way. He is not red. I mean, at points he could have been red. He did have, when going up against Gaara was a good chance he could have been red at that point in time. But we're not talking about points in time here. We're talking about the overall character for an extended period. And Lee just didn't hold on to anger very much. He didn't hold on to it. He didn't, he wasn't someone to hold a grudge or anything like that. Unfortunately, here's the weird thing. You might say Violet, but yes, Lee, be my girlfriend. I'll protect you my life. Clearly that was not, he didn't truly have a crush on Sa. It wasn't a crush, it was a crush. That was it. It wasn't love. So I can't really obviously he must have he either has a wife or had a wife. So he clearly had experienced love, but I don't think that could qualify him for the Violet Lantern Corps. Nor, unfortunately, I think he could really be the Indigo Lantern Corps. And the reason for that is he neither lacks nor has a great deal of compassion. He's neither or. He's one, or you have to be one or the other. You have to have a humongous deal of compassion, or you have to have no compassion whatsoever. And Lee just doesn't qualify. He has just enough compassion, I think, Well, then I'm moving so fast. He has just enough compassion, I think, to not qualify for the Indigo Lantern Corps. And Orange Lantern Corps, it was more about improving himself to reach a goal, to prove that he could be a great ninja just with taijutsu alone. So I can't qualify him for the Orange Lantern Corps. Yellow, there were points where Lee got scary. There were he scared Gaara for a little while. In early series Gaara, nothing scared him. So if you could scare him, I think the only three individuals who legitimately scared Gaara were Naruto, Sasuke, and Lee. I think that's it. Because no one else, when you talk about early series, like when he came back to when to help Lee against Kimimaro, wasn't scared of Kimimaro. Hell, when you look at later series Lee, wasn't scared of the Akatsuki. He wasn't scared of Sasuke when he attacked. He wasn't scared. I mean, but Naruto, Sasuke, and Lee in part one of Naruto scared him. So, and at least shown other points where he can be scary too. So, especially when he's using the inner gates. So, yeah, Lee could qualify for the Lantern Corps of Yellow. But I don't think those are the corps he stands the best chance of being in. The corps he stands the best chance of being in are similar to a guy like Green. Green is one that a lot of people, when I brought this video up, that when we were eventually going to get to it, said like, yeah, Lee's going to be a Green Lantern. And it makes sense. Everything he's done through sheer will and determination. So it makes complete sense why he could be a Green Lantern. And there's a good chance it would be a Green Lantern. But like Guy, take Guy out of it, Lee would also be a really good candidate for the Lantern Corps of White. Again, you need to nurture life, you need to protect life, you need to help grow life, you need to be alive, and you need to experience and revel in life. And what does Lee, being a carbon copy of Guy, pretty much do? He revels in life. Okay. Yeah, something was being weird. You hear something about that? I digress. I'm almost done anyway. So Lee is probably one of the better candidates along with Guy for the Lantern Corps of White. But there's a third option here, and that's Blue. Lee, apart from Naruto, there are very few characters in the series who hold on to the ideal of hope, hoping that they can improve, hoping they can get to a goal, and never giving up that hope that Lee and Naruto do. Naruto was another character who I fully believe could have been a Blue Lantern. In fact, Naruto's probably one of the only characters, and Lee, now that I think about it, is one of the only characters who could theoretically qualify for both simultaneously, because they're the only two rings that can work together beneficially. Because will strengthens hope, the abilities of hope, and hope strengthens will. Because when you think about it, hope is the catalyst of will. You have hope, and your will fuels your hope onward, and you keep holding on to that. Whereas hope, though, it can only do so much. It takes the will to act upon that hope to make something a reality, to push beyond that. And that's why those two are joined together. They're basically the two strongest Lantern Corps, more or less, when you take, say, the black and white out of the equation. Although Orange Lanterns are no joke either. None of the Lantern Corps are a joke. But in terms of the strongest Lantern Corps outside of white, which is godlike, you're looking at Blue as technically the strongest, with green as well. But Orange is probably is next runner up. Red is a good option. They're all strong in their own different ways. So it also all depends on the emotional spectrum that they're using. So I do think Lee qualifies just as easily for Blue as he does for green. Now, unlike with Naruto, do I think there is a one corps specifically he qualifies for over any of the others? I think here's the thing. Because White Lantern rings are not, unlike all the other Lantern Corps, except for maybe, there's plenty of Orange Lantern rings. It's just Lord Release hoards them all because avarice. But there's not a lot of White Lantern Corps rings. So if I were to, in this theoretical what-if scenario where a lot of the Naruto characters got Lantern Corps rings, Guy would be the most likely candidate who's still living in the series, mind you. to get a White Lantern Corps ring over Lee. So you take maybe the one White Lantern Corps ring out of the equation. Which one would I think Lee would get? I would probably move over. It probably would be Will. And the reason, see, unlike with Naruto, where he's almost, because he's the shonen protagonist, and the way they designed his character, he's actually legitimately split down the middle. Lee, however, is more about perseverance, in a different way than Naruto. We know he muscles through a lot of things because that's the way he's just kind of trained himself to be. However, whereas a lot of that comes from hope, a lot of that is just hit sheer willpower in general. So while hope might fuel his will, I do think Will is probably the slightly better option over Blue for Lee. But similar to Naruto, he's a character who could very easily be one or the other, and in theory have both rings. But if you were to really push me on it, I'll go with Green. Naruto is one of those, however, who was interchangeable. I would probably say, though, if you were to push me on Naruto, he was probably closer to Blue, but when we get to that eventual what if, whenever I get to it, it won't be for a while still. I have to get through all my Naruto Lantern Corps videos before I even consider doing that one. And I got plenty of other what ifs to do. Trust me. You know how many I've got hundreds. I'm not joking. I have hundreds of suggestions. Many of them are duplicates, but that just means that a lot of people want to see the same thing. So when I finally get to it, I'm gonna probably do polls or something along those lines of the community, and ask you, what do you want? Which one do you want to see them get? This one, or maybe both? That kind of thing going on. But we'll wait for that to happen when it happens. Till then, though, that was Team Guy, Team 9, Naruto. So thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you next time. Like, comment, share, subscribe, and as always, you want us to review something, put in the comments below. Let us know. We'll review it at some point. No more videos today. Technically, it's Monday, but pre-recorded. So no more videos Tuesday. But we've got our pre-recorded Wednesday's What If, which is a new What If. Not going to say what it is. All I will say is it is Naruto-based. Usually I have two different ones, a Dragon Ball Z one and a Naruto one. So it is a new Naruto What If coming. And it's one that several people have asked me for, so it's another one of the bigger ones I'm getting to. And the Who Would Win on Wednesday as well. So until then, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and I will see you next time. Have a good one.